Humanity is making progress. Since the Enlightenment unfolded in the late 18th century, life expectancy across the world has risen from 30 to 71, and in the more fortunate countries to 81. When the Enlightenment began, a third of the children born in the richest parts of the world died before their 5th birthday. Today, that fate befalls 6% of the children in the poorest parts. In those poor countries, lethal infectious diseases are in steady decline, some of them afflicting just a few dozen people a year, soon to follow smallpox into extinction. The world is about 100 times wealthier today than it was 2 centuries ago. The proportion of humanity living in extreme poverty has fallen from almost 90% to less than 10%. Catastrophic famine, never far away in most of human history, has vanished from most of the world, and undernourishment and stunting are in steady decline. A century ago, richer countries devoted 1% of their wealth to supporting children, the poor, and the aged. Today they spend almost a quarter of it. Poverty among racial minorities has fallen, and poverty among the elderly has plunged. The world is giving peace a chance. War between countries is obsolescent, and war within countries is absent from 5/6 of the world's surface. The proportion of people killed annually in wars is less than a quarter of what it was in the 1980s, a 1/7 of what it was in the early 70s, and an 1/18 of what it was in the early 50s, and 0.5% of what it was during World War II. In most times and places, homicides kill far more people than wars, and homicide rates have been falling as well. Americans are half as likely to be murdered as they were just 24 years ago. In the world as a whole, people are 7/10 as likely to be murdered as they were 18 years ago. Life has been getting safer in every way. Over the course of the 20th century, Americans became 96% less likely to be killed in a car accident, 88% less likely to be mowed down on the sidewalk, 99% less likely to die in a plane crash, 59% less likely to fall to their deaths, 92% less likely to die by fire, 90% less likely to drown, 92% less likely to be asphyxiated, and 95% less likely to be killed on the job. Life in other rich countries is even safer, and life in poorer countries will get safer as they get richer. People are getting not just healthier, richer, and safer, but freer. 2 centuries ago, a handful of countries, embracing 1% of the world's people, were democratic. Today, 2/3 of the world's countries, embracing 2/3 of its people, are. Not long ago, half the world's countries had laws that discriminated against racial minorities. Today, more countries have policies that favor their minorities than policies that discriminate against them. At the turn of the 20th century, women could vote in just 1 country. Today, they can vote in every country where men can vote, save 1. As people are getting healthier, richer, safer, and freer, they are also becoming more literate, knowledgeable, and smarter. Early in the 19th century, 12% of the world could read and write. Today, 83% can. The schooling, together with health and wealth, are literally making us smarter by 30 IQ points or 2 standard deviations above our ancestors. People are putting their longer, healthier, safer, freer, richer, and wiser lives to good use. Americans work 22 fewer hours a week than they used to, have 3 weeks of paid vacation, lose 43 fewer hours to housework, and spend just 1/3 of their paycheck on necessities rather than 5/8. They are using their leisure and disposable income to travel, spend time with their children, connect with loved ones, and sample the world's cuisine, knowledge, and culture. As a result of these gifts, people worldwide have become happier. Even Americans, who take their good fortune for granted, are pretty happy, or happier, they say, and the younger generations are becoming less unhappy, lonely, depressed, drug-addicted, and suicidal. As societies have become healthier, wealthier, freer, happier, and better educated, they have set their sights on the most pressing global challenges. They have emitted fewer pollutants, cleared fewer forests, spilled less oil, set aside more preserves, extinguished fewer species, saved the ozone layer, and peaked in their consumption of oil, farmland, timber, paper, cars, coal, and perhaps even carbon. The world's 2 most pressing problems, though not yet solved, are solvable. Practicable, long-term agendas have been laid out for eliminating nuclear weapons and for mitigating climate change. For all the bleeding headlines, for all the crises, collapses, scandals, plagues, epidemics, and existential threats, these are accomplishments to savor. the Enlightenment is working. For 2.5 centuries, people have used knowledge to enhance human flourishing. Scientists have exposed the workings of matter, life, and mind. Inventors have harnessed the laws of nature to defy entropy, and entrepreneurs have made their innovations affordable. Scholars have perpetuated the treasury of knowledge and augmented the power of reason. Artists have expanded the circle of sympathy. Activists have pressured the powerful to overturn repressive measures and their fellow citizens to change repressive norms. All these efforts have been channeled into institutions that have allowed us to circumvent the flaws of human nature and empower our better angels.